Attorney, to your question, kasi galing ako sa militar at saka uniform service. We accept the fact that it was an emergency situation. Tama po ba? Or you do not accept it?
Yes, sir.
You accept it. And in an emergency situation, there has to be a decision. Otherwise, the outcome will be more disastrous. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. And therefore, government has to act. Tama po? Even if there was a provision of law that says so, pag emergency, that law can be waived. Why? Because of the emergency situation. Government has to decide. Kasi kami, na naka-uniforme, pag nandun na kami sa battlefield, pag hindi kami nag-decide, mas malaki yung damage na nangyayari sa amin eh. That is why we say that a wrong decision is better than no decision at all.
Yes,
that was
but
where government was during that situation.
Pwede pa tayo extend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I just received a text that we can still extend like another 30 minutes. So go ahead, Congressman. Can we allow other members of the resource speakers to speak also? Please identify yourself and you are recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and sa lahat po sa atin dito. I think what Attorney Bello was saying was that kung yung batas nga natin na RA 11525 na napakadaling maintindihan ng mga lehitimong mamamayang Pilipino ay hindi nga ginalang nitong ating mga ahensya ng gobyerno, how much more pa po kung yung magle-level up na siya into an international law. And Mr. Chair, bilang isang pastor at nagmula po sa Davao, nakabahagi po kami ng Lunas, Pilipinas, ang aming pong ipinaparating ay, maaari ho ba na maging kabahagi ang hanay namin sa Lunas, Pilipinas sa gagawing technical working group? Para lang sa gayon po, mag-meet halfway po tayo na hindi yung nabubulaga tayong lahat, kagaya po ng sinasabi natin, ay naririnig natin sa ating mga congressmen na nagsasalita kanina, aminado tayo na there was an emergency na kinailangan gampanan ng ating mga halal sa bayan. Subalit, hindi nangangahulugan yon na isang option lang ang ating gagawin. Isa lang ang ating pakikinggan. Kagaya na lamang po sa hanay namin, nung minandatoryo po, yung minandatoryo ninyo, yung bakunahan, lalong-lalo na po yung pagpapatupad ng IATF, nakasaad naman po sa Section 12 ng RA 11525 na hindi po siya mandatoryo. Subalit, napilitan ho ang maraming kababayan natin na sumunod dahil sa kagustuhang makapaghanap buhay, kagustuhang may mga emergency na kailangan mapuntahan. So, I think that was where our good lawyer, Attorney Bello, was coming from. Yun lang po. Thank you po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I? Thank you. Alam po ninyo, ang asawa ko po'y namatay dahil sa sa pandemic. So alam ko yung suffering, mga nilalagay nyo dyan ng mga litrato. She died during the pandemic because of COVID. And she did not receive any vaccine kasi ayaw pa niya nung una eh. So she had a choice. Di ba? Kasi meron na yung Chinese vaccine noon eh. Sinovac. She did not avail of it because she wanted na yung gawa sa other countries other than China ang magamit niya. So, yung sinasabi po ninyo, ako nga pabor doon sa ginagawa ng gobyerno noon eh. Why? Kasi maganda lang tayo magsalita ngayon yung diferensya because we were not there. Hindi tayo ang decision maker nung panahon na yon. Pero if you were in the shoes of government, would you have done otherwise, Pastora? Would you have done otherwise?
Mr. Chair, what I am saying is, hindi kami tutol na nanindigan o gumawa kayo ng hakbang para po papasukin ang bakuna dito sa ating bayan. What we are trying to say was that kung yung simpleng pong batas na kayang maunawaan ng mga elementary grades natin ng mga kabataan sa Pilipinas na hindi kaya ngang masubstantiate na maipatupad ng maayos, how much more po kung papasok tayo dun sa isang panibagong international law na kagaya po ng sinasabi ng mahal nating attorney na nagmula sa DOH, binibigyan niya tayo ng assurance na talagang sisiguraduhin daw nila na yung sobereintiya natin hindi maisasaalang-alang. Subalit, ang tanong natin, hindi pa nga tapos yung technical working group ninyo, nagsasabi na kayo na ipapasa nyo sa Senado. Pangalawa, may nauna ng statement ang ating Secretary ng Department of Health na they are 100% in support. So parang, saan tayo papasok dun kung hindi pa pala tapos pero meron ng commitment? That's all, Mr. Chair.
Mali po yata yung intindi nyo, Pastora. Hindi naman po nila sinabi na ipapasa doon sa Senado. Ang sinasabi po lang namin ay lahat ng tratado na pipirmahan ng ating bansa, dadaan sa scrutiny ng Senado because that is what the law says. Number two, the Secretary of Health, I'm not defending him. The Secretary of Health did not say 100% na support. May mga condition nga siya eh. Kaya nga binasa ko eh. There are conditions that he stated for his country's support to the pandemic treaty. That treaty is supposed to be balanced. It will operationalize equity. So may mga conditional. Kaya hindi 100%, Pastora. You better read that.
I stand corrected, Mr. Chair, but that's what I understand during the exchange of conversation.
The statement of the Secretary of DOH during the World Health Assembly. Binasa ko, I quoted it. And I have a video of that also.
Yes, correct. Thank you so much. I saw it. You showed it to me. Okay. Dr. Landrito. Sige, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to address this to Honorable Congressman Acop. As far as we were saying we were in an emergency, right? But CDCPH,
There was an official declaration of an emergency situation in
Yes.
our country.
yes, as early as August 2020, CDCPH has been asking for an audience with the OH because we were proposing for a different treatment protocol for prevention and treatment. They never gave us. They gave us the chance. We were in a Zoom meeting with Dr. Duque in June 15, 2021. So many months have passed. But our experience from that time on, that span of time, we were able to save hundreds of thousands of lives using our protocol. And I would say it is highly probable and possible that your wife could still be alive today if she received the treatment that we were proposing. Personally, I was spearheading the distribution of ivermectin, which was proven to be.
Let me cut you there.
Yes.
My wife had a choice. I'm telling you that. Katabi ko siya sa pagtulog eh. I know better my wife than you do.
Yes, po.
Di ba?
Yes,
She had a choice. Pwede siyang magpapakuna. Pero she chose differently. So huwag nyo nang sisihin siya.
I'm not blaming her. I'm blaming what I'm pertaining to was the treatment, not the vaccine. We were proposing, and they were demonizing our proposal. 5 times they gave advisories, the DOH, I mean, that ivermectin was not good, was not to be used by the doctors. When, in fact, those who used it anyway.
I read that.
Yeah.
I read all
Received.
the debates about your protocol. I read that also.
The truth is, DOH never heard it. It's fortunate that you heard it, but they never heard. They gave us a chance only on June 15. And you know what they said after we proposed it? Yes, we will do it, of course. But we will have to wait for the clinical trial. And they did the clinical trial January 2022. And only just in incipient stage, just 2 weeks, they stopped the trial. So,
Doctor,
nothing
I
happened.
cannot answer you because I was not a member of the IATF. maybe we should wait for the presence of Dr. Duque, who was then the Secretary of the Department of Health and a member of the IATF.
So what I'm saying, sir, here is we could have made a big difference. You were saying, were you doing, what were you doing during the pandemic? This is what we've been doing and that is what we have accomplished.
Doktor, kasi ako, hindsight is the perfect science. I think you know what I mean.
Okay, thank you so much. Sige, Sally. Then I will be asking the yung sa Bureau of Quarantine kasi may question sa iyo si Congressman Akop eh. I will be asking you. Okay.
Thank
Sally
you.
Clark.
Yeah, I would just like to put on record that in terms of adverse reaction reporting systems, there are known underreporting factors. The international underreporting factor in the US is known to be 40 to 100 times. The underreporting factor in the Philippines will definitely be very much higher, which means that our adverse reporting system did not capture most of the deaths and most of the injuries. And yet by the 4th of April in 2021, 1 month after vaccine rollout, there are already 28,000 reports of adverse reactions and 45 reports of deaths. Thank you.
So what is clear ay talagang meron yung mga excess deaths, no? And thank you for that, no? And siguro we have to update sa PSA. Andiyan din ang PSA, no? Andiyan ang PSA, no? So after quarantine, ay sa Bureau of Quarantine, kasi nag-issue kayo ng high alert eh. Sinasabi ni Congressman Akop during that time, kapag high alert, meron silang pinagbabasihan. Yung representative mo na pinadala dito, the last time, ang sabi niyang basis niya, hindi yung mga merong flirt virus, kundi yung sinabi ng WHO. Doon siya nag-rely. So, tell us, yung bang naging basis niyo to issue a high alert situation on flirt virus?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Actually, our basis in issuing that advisory, the heightened alert, this advisory was really intended for our station chief and the frontliners of the Bureau of Quarantine. And it was based mainly on the news of the increased cases internationally, especially Singapore. They reported about 25,000 new cases of the new variant of COVID. This was based on our international surveillance section in the Bureau of Quarantine. So the data came from that section. So aside from the 25,000 reported new cases in Singapore, there we are receiving about more than 17 flights a day from Singapore, and about 4,000 to 5,000 travelers from Singapore entering the Philippines daily. So that made us issue that advisory just to alert our station chief and our yung ating manpower sa ating frontliners. Just to enhance and strengthen.
So yun ang naging basis ninyo, yung mga cases outside our country. Since kayo is a Bureau of Quarantine, yung pagpasok dito ng mga tao natin, so you issued a high alert situation where it created some fear among our countrymen. Di ba? Nag-create to eh. Correct? And that's the reason why we ask, no, not me, but Congressman Akop asked you, your representative, what is the basis of the high alert? And it is all based on what is happening outside our country. Okay, now I got it. Congressman Akop, please.
May I ask the Bureau of Quarantine representative, ang basis po ninyo is because of the number of affected personnel in the country, Singapore? Yes. Tama po ba? I've been there. I arrived from Singapore last Saturday. Wala naman ako nababasang ganun eh. Doon. Walang bulletin lahat doon. Namasyal kami doon sa napakalaki nilang airport. Walang sinasabi. People were not wearing masks. Some people were because voluntary yung kanila. There was no sign of any alert in Singapore. Pero
Saka,
tayo, may alert tayo, heightened alert.
Now, before you answer do sa query ni Congressman, I would like to substantiate his experience in Singapore as well. Because prior to his departure to Singapore, I was in Singapore. And I even called Congressman Acop when I was in Singapore. So, prior to his departure to Singapore, he told me that he's going to Singapore. Now, ngayon lang, ngayon ko lang na-realize that nung pumunta kami doon, talagang walang notice of anything, walang mga face mask, pagpasok mo doon, ang bilis, paglabas mo doon, ganun din, and even the people who are roaming around, talagang makikita mo that there was no panic or fear or anything about what we have issued high alert situation of this country. Sige, Congressman Ako.
Kaya ako po tinatanong yung representative nyo nung last hearing. Kasi I do not know what the people or what you want the people do or follow during a heightened alert. Yun po yung gusto kong malaman. Ano ba dapat ang gusto nyo mangyari sa mga tao during a heightened alert? When you declare a heightened alert?
Actually, as I mentioned earlier, sir, the intention of that advisory is for our people, sa frontliners and our chief at the stations, just to enhance their yung screening nila sa mga borders po natin, just to heighten and enhance their screening process, just to be strict in reviewing yung e-travel, yung health declaration checklist that is found in the e-travel portal, and the usual thermal scanning at the borders. Although this virus is considered mild, low ang kanyang virulence, it could create havoc sa ating mga immunocompromised people, yung mga may sakit. This can cause severe infection and even death for immunocompromised people.
Could you not have done it otherwise so that it would not have caused some sort of a little panic on the part of the populace? Kasi intended for your frontliners, sabi po ninyo eh.
Yes.
But it has affected the citizens of this country.
It was not intended na mag-leak po sa media, but it happened.
Kaya ngayon nga ang tanong ko eh, what do you expect of us, the citizens, to do during a declaration of a heightened alert? Yun po yung gusto kong malaman. Di po ba?
Please reply, quarantine. Go ahead.
It was stated in that advisory that they should, what they learned during the past pandemic, that they had to, the usual, in protecting themselves, like frequent hand washing, using masks if they think they are exposed or they are somebody or infected or they are in a crowded place where it's not safe, especially for travelers if they are visiting that country where there are increased incidence of that new COVID variant.
Kasi, alam po ninyo, there are 40,000 foreign visitors in Singapore every day. Pero sa nakikita ko doon, normal na normal yung takbo ng buhay nila habang sinasabi po ninyo na 25,000 plus ang naapektuhan ng virus na ito. Tayo, wala pang ang report na 100 na nagkukuan, heightened alert kagad tayo. I just do not know. Kaya tinatanong ko yung basis po ninyo pag dideklara ng heightened alert. Kasi sa militar, pag nag-declare kami ng red alert, may basis. Yun po yung amin. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so we'll be asking as well yung other PSA, can you kindly tell us doon sa mga series of hearings natin, you mentioned yung increase ng excess deaths, di ba? So suddenly in the last hearing you mentioned that there was a reduction, no, nung excess deaths on the totality noong deaths sa atin, no? So, can you kindly give us an update?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Based dun sa past 5 years, sir, we have to update the official data. We have the published na official data, which is a cut-off. And we included those late submission. Kaya medyo may effect siya, bumaba siya yung average na updated counts ng excess deaths to 293,000. Kasi yung average ng 5 years, tumaas, sir. May konti na nadagdag na mga deaths.
So, from 297,000 excess deaths,
Yes,
yung totality ng average ng 5 years is
Yes.
now 292,000.
293 na po, yung
293.
excess deaths. Excess deaths, sir. From the updated counts na 885,000 deaths, 876 in 2021.
Yes, but in comparison to the previous years, prior to that 5 years period, hindi ganoon yung ating excess deaths.
Yes, sir, because
Yes.
as I've mentioned, may cut-off period to
Yes,
the
correct.
official.
So, yung 5 years prior to the 5 years that you are mentioning right now, the 292,000, there was an increase of how many percent on the excess deaths? Normally, yung nakaraang 5 taon, prior to these 5 years that you are telling us, na 297,000, na ngayon 292,000, how many percent ang tinaas ng excess deaths natin doon sa period ng 5 years na yan?
Ilang percent? We'll compute the percentage, Mr. Chair, but the total deaths, no, based dun sa 2021 na published is only 879,429. But the updated data, based dun sa mga late submissions pa on the occurrence of that event for 2021 is 885,876. And as I've mentioned, yung
So,
average...
hindi mo alam yung percentage?
Ilan ba? Yan ang mga compute mo. Ayaw magbukas.
Okay, so
Sandali, sir.
we're wrapping up. So 5 minutes more and then we're done. So how many percent?
Ito na lang.
Okay, so any other resource speakers who wanted to speak? Kasi marami kayong mga nakikita namin mga pictures na to eh. Ito ba yung mga naging you want to speak? Who want to speak? Wala na po. So kung wala na po, PSA, last word, how many? How many percent? Kasi ang estimate ng napag-usapan dito that was established was 43% ang increase niya doon sa last 5 years prior to the COVID pandemic. Ma'am, kung wala po kayo dyan, sabihin nyo na lang po, okay naman po kami. Submit nyo na lang po sa amin. Wala po kayo dyan. Acting kayo ng acting na may tinitignan kayo. Wala naman po kayo tinitignan ata eh. Pero po ba?
The updated data. We have here...
Submit nyo na lang. Okay. So, with that, siguro po, kung wala na pong magsasalita, we will be scheduling another hearing for this. Alas 9 pa po kami nag-hearing. And Congressman Paduano, Congressman Acop are all tired. And so we will be having